My grandmother had one rule at her farm. If the dog went quiet, we came inside that second. The night he didn't bark at all, she put us in the cellar and stood at the top of the stairs. I was 9 and my brother was 6, and we'd spent that whole summer thinking the rule was a game. Duke was a big shepherd who barked at everything. The mailman, the wind, his own shadow. Grandma always said the same thing. A quiet dog is a scared dog, and Duke doesn't get scared for nothing. That night we were shelling peas on the porch when I noticed Duke had stopped. Not barking, not growling, just standing at the edge of the yard, staring into the dark tree line, completely still. "Grandma," I said, "Duke's not making any noise." She looked up from her chair and I watched her whole face change. She set the bowl down slow. "Both of you, inside, now." But we didn't finish. "Now Ellie." She herded us through the kitchen and pulled back the rug over the cellar door. My brother started crying because he hated the cellar, and she knelt down and grabbed both our faces in her hands. "You listen to me. You go down there, you stay quiet, and you don't come up no matter what you hear. You understand? No matter what. Grandma, what's out there? Go." She pushed us down the wooden steps and I heard her drag something heavy over the door. Then I heard her walk to the wall by the stairs, and I knew exactly what she was reaching for because I'd seen it 100 times. The shotgun. We sat in the dark on the cold dirt floor. My brother had his face buried in my shoulder. Up above, everything was silent. No barking, no footsteps, nothing. Then a knock at the front door. Polite. 3 taps. "Evening." A man's voice called out, muffled through the floorboards. "Sorry to bother you so late. My truck broke down about a mile back. Was hoping I could use your phone." Grandma's voice came back flat and even. "Phone's out. Storm took the line last week." "Ah, that's a shame." A pause. "Mind if I trouble you for some water then? Been walking a while. I'll bring it to the porch. You stay right where you are." I heard her cross the kitchen, heard the tap run, and then real quiet right above the cellar door, I heard her whisper to herself. 1 truck. 2 doors slammed. The man's voice again, closer now, like he'd stepped inside. "You out here all alone, ma'am? Big place for 1 woman. I've got my grandkids sleeping upstairs and a dog in the yard. Funny thing about that dog," his voice had changed, lower. He didn't make a sound when we came up the drive, almost like somebody'd already gotten to him. Silence. My whole body went cold. "Where are they?" he said. "The kids. We saw 2 on the porch from the road. I told you they're sleeping." "Then you won't mind if my partner takes a look upstairs." I heard a second set of boots move across the kitchen floor toward the stairs. My brother's breathing started to speed up and I clamped my hand over his mouth. Above us, Grandma's voice stayed calm as still water. "Mister, I'm going to tell you something my husband taught me. In this house, the second dangerous thing in the room is always the one you're not looking at. And what's the first? Me." The shotgun went off and the whole ceiling shook dust down on our heads. A body hit the floor hard, right over where we were sitting. The second man shouted and I heard the boots scramble back toward the door. Then the shotgun racked and fired again. Something crashed through the screen door and thudded onto the porch. Just my brother sobbing into my hand and the ringing in my ears. The cellar door dragged open. Grandma stood at the top of the stairs with the gun still in her hands and blood spatter across her apron, and she looked down at us like she was checking a pot roast. "You two all right?" I couldn't even talk. I just nodded. Later, after the sheriff came, I heard him tell her they'd been working the county for months. 2 men in a truck, hitting farmhouses with women or old folks living alone. 4 families before us. Nobody ever left survivors, and nobody ever knew how they knew a place was safe to hit. That was the last piece I understood, standing in that yard watching them zip the bags. Duke wasn't scared that night. They'd killed him an hour before they ever knocked, and my grandmother had heard the one thing that told her so, the silence.